Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be taking a break from blockchain forensics. Instead, we're going to be looking at a story. So basically what happened was this guy tried to sell nuclear secrets, and he did try to sell them with Monero. And it turns out he was talking to feds the entire time. Yeah, there's some really interesting details in here, and this guy does, attempt to, use encryption, and he tries to do all the right things, but yeah, the feds knew it was him the entire time. So let's take a look. So here's the criminal complaint, and I will be kind of jumping around this as we go through it. So basically, the suspect is this guy named Jonathan Toby, who was an employee of the United States Navy. And on December 20th, 2020, he sent a package to Country 1. Now, they don't say who this foreign country is. I'm assuming it's like Russia or one of the bad guys, But basically, he sent some documents to this foreign country, and he told them to pass those documents along to their intelligence agency. And he says, "I apologize for this poor translation into your language. Please forward this letter to your military intelligence agency. I believe this information will be of great value to your nation. This is not a hoax." Now, it doesn't say what happened after this, but the FBI was tipped off. So yeah, I don't know what backroom deals they got going between the deep state and, foreign states. But I'm assuming that they had reached out to the FBI and said, hey, some guy's trying to commit treason. If you hear of anybody trying to commit treason within our country, let us know, kind of thing. I really have no idea. But basically, the FBI was tipped off about it. It says here that there were 3 keys located in the SD card that was sent, a public key, private key, and a Proton Mail public key. So this guy was using Proton Mail. So the FBI emailed this guy back and they said, "We received your letter. We want to work with you. It has been many months, so we need to know if you are still out there. Please respond to this message. Then we will provide instruction how to proceed." So the suspect responds, "Thank you for contacting me. I'm still here. The COVID disease has made it more difficult to find chances to check this email. Let us discuss how to proceed." Using the COVID excuse here is quite the choice. You're just checking your email, dude. But anyways, the FBI responds, "We understand the delay. Hope you are well. Our experts reviewed the information you provided. We would like as sample your," and he lists different sections. "We have a trusted friend in your country who has a gift for you to compensate for your efforts." So our suspect here responds, "I am uncomfortable with this arrangement. Face-to-face meetings are very risky for me, as I am sure you understand. I propose exchanging gifts electronically for mutual safety. I can upload documents to a secure cloud storage account, encrypted with a key I have provided you. You can send me a suitable gift in Monero cryptocurrency to an address I will provide. $100,000 USD should be enough to prove to me that you're not an unwelcome third party looking to make trouble for me." And then he goes on. So basically, he's trying to get this received in Monero. He's trying to do this all electronically through encryption, which is actually, at this part, he's playing this well as to what he should be doing. The court documents explain what Monero is, and then the undercover agent responds, "We understand a face-to-face meeting would be uncomfortable. We suggest a neutral drop location. When you visit the location alone, you retrieve a gift and leave behind the sample we request." Okay, so our guy responds, "I understand your proposal for a dead drop. I'm concerned that using a dead drop location your friend prepares makes me very vulnerable." So, yeah, again, here he's smart at this point, saying, there's a drop location. You guys could just be observing me, or there's tracking devices, whatever. He goes on to talk about how his encryption is better. He even actually mentions, "I am very aware of the risks of blockchain analysis of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and believe Monero gives both us excellent deniability." So maybe he watched Breaking Monero. Who knows? The undercover agent then responds, "We understand your concern and appreciate the thoughtful plan. As a sign of good faith and trust, we wish to pay you equivalent of $10,000 immediately on Monero to the address you provide. Drop locations are safest and allow us to make exchanges without coming in contact and, of course, leave no electronic footprint. Your proposed method of memory card with encryption/passphrases is acceptable. For the small sample we requested, you will receive another $20,000 USD. Once you confirm a Monero address, we will activate payment. Our next step will be information on drop location we have selected. This method will build trust between us for a larger transaction in the future. Our experts are interested in information you have, but we insist on maintaining our discretion and security as priority. So what they're doing here is they are baiting him with money. And as you're going to see, at first, our suspect is going to be stubborn, but eventually he will relent to this. So our suspect then says, "I'm sorry to be so stubborn and untrusting, but I cannot agree to go to a location of your choosing. I must consider the possibility that I am communicating with an adversary who has intercepted my first message and is attempting to expose me. Would not such an adversary wish me to go to a place of his choosing, knowing that an amateur will be unlikely to detect his surveillance? If you insist on physically delivering the package, there must be a place of my choosing. I ask you to consider the viability of an electronic dead drop. I can establish an encrypted online storage account without providing any identifying information and without provoking any suspicion. Another possibility occurs to me. Is there some physical signal you can make that proves your identity to me? I could plan to visit Washington, D.C. over the Memorial Day weekend. I would just be another tourist in the crowd. Perhaps you could fly a signal flag on your roof, something easily observable from the street, but nothing to arouse an adversary's suspicion." So then the undercover agent responds, "You don't need to apologize. We appreciate you being careful. This is much better than someone reckless. Your thoughtful plans indicate you are not amateur. This relationship requires mutual comfort. There is a risk on both sides. We understand your need for safety assurance of who you are communicating with. As you suggest, we can accommodate a signal in Washington, D.C. over the Memorial Day weekend. We will set a signal from our main building observable from the street. It will bring you comfort with signal on display from area inside our property that we control and not an adversary. If you agree, please acknowledge. We will then provide more instruction about the signal. We hope this plan will continue to build necessary trust and comfort of our identity." So then it goes on with our suspect telling them that he's going over Memorial Day weekend and he's going to walk by this, what is likely an embassy building of this foreign country, and he will then look to see this signal. And the undercover agent responds that he's happy to set a signal to build trust between them, and that they're going to do it from the main building from Saturday morning until Sunday evening, Memorial Day weekend, which evidently they did. I don't know if it was some like light or some flag or something. Who knows what they did, but there was some sort of signal on this building, and the suspect, who was in Washington, D.C., walked by it at some point or drove by it and saw the signal, and then he's like, okay, I can trust these guys, even though it's just the feds the entire time. How crazy is that? It's really like straight out of a movie. But yeah, this is hook, line, and sinker. Now they're going to dig in deeper. So now they then pay the guy $10,000 as a sign of good faith. Our suspect says, for maximum security, it's very important that you do not send Monero to the same address twice. That's not really true. As long as you control your outputs that you receive, you can receive as many to the same address. You just have to separate them later on with coin control, but whatever. And the suspect then gives him the address, gets paid $10,000 in Monero. So yes, this confirms the FBI has actually sent Monero. And so then they did a dead drop here. There was a location. They discussed how the guy should go to this location. And then at 10:41 on this day, they observed the guy at the location. So they probably had like a million agents out there just like watching this dude. And so they saw this guy, and sure enough, his wife was with him, standing approximately 1 meter away from Jonathan Toby during the servicing of the dead drop. And he says, based on my experience and training, it appeared that Diana Toby assisted Jonathan Toby during the dead drop operation. Diana Toby appeared to act as a lookout for Jonathan Toby during the drop and survey the surrounding area. And then it says, following the servicing of the dead drop, they were observed walking through a more populated area near the location of the dead drop. And from my experience and training, it appeared that both of them were conducting surveillance detection routes, meaning that they were moving in a way to attempt to detect whether they were being surveyed or followed. So, like, I don't know, maybe they like watched a spy movie or something, and yeah, who the hell knows? But this guy had roped his wife into this whole operation as well. And so anyway, the dead drop was a SD card wrapped in plastic, placed between two slices of bread on a half of a peanut butter sandwich. Anyways, they then paid him $20,000. They already know this guy, but I guess they just roped him on even longer. They do a second dead drop down here. And at this point, they already found out who this guy is. They did a background check, so they know where he was in the Navy, so they knew he had access to all the information that they're receiving. So they do a second dead drop. Like, he's just giving them all this information, talking about all the stuff he's like leaking to them, and giving away everything. And then they do a third dead drop down here in Eastern Virginia. And like the other dead drops, they're observing him the entire time, watching him go in. And they paid him $70,000 in Monero, bringing the total amount of Monero paid to this guy to $100,000 USD. Here's another email they sent, which is just even longer. And at this point, the feds got done playing with their food, and then they went and arrested him shortly thereafter. And yeah, the guy ended up getting 19 years. I don't know what his wife got. Let me see here. All right, so I looked up the sentencing here, and it says that Jonathan Toby was sentenced today to 232 months, over 19 years of incarceration. His wife was sentenced to 262 months, more than 21 years of incarceration. I don't know why his wife got more time than him. That's very curious. I don't know, maybe she was the mastermind the entire time, and he was just the dummy, which would be an interesting twist if it was actually her doing pulling all the strings here. And you know why I wanted to share this is because you can use all the right privacy tools, but if you just get tricked into revealing information about your identity, you know, the privacy tools are moot. And that's why there's no such thing as perfect privacy. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.